back to that conversation and give you an opportunity to tell the committee how many Americans you are collecting their financial data. How many Americans do we have that you collect on?
So again, and I've tried to give this answer several different times.
I'm looking for a number. How many Americans?
Okay, that's not the way the question can be answered. Let me try to. Do you want me to try to answer it?
Do you have a number?
Okay.
Do you have a number?
Three different buckets of pieces. There's consumer complaint data, a couple 100,000.
So I'm going to bring you directly to the supervisory capacity.
Okay.
How many Americans do you collect on there?
Okay. We don't collect directly from any Americans' supervisory capacity. We go to institutions, and we work with the institutions to understand how they're affecting their customers.
How many institutions collect from America? How many Americans are collected for you through these third parties?
Okay. So we oversee approximately 110 large banks and a few credit unions with assets of $10 billion or more. So they have significant customer base.
How many Americans? That's my question for you. Give me an answer.
It's not the way the work is done, sir.
Okay,
I mean, it's like asking me, you know, what color is this song? Well, it's just not quite the same thing. So,
let's go to credit cards. We won't talk about your song. Let's go to credit cards. How many actual credit cards are you collecting on Americans? Credit card data. Credit card information.
So, three different ways. One would be they may come to us with a consumer complaint. That would, and it may be about credit cards.
Mr. Cordray, listen. I think America wants to know a number of how many you're collecting, and you're giving me a lot of explanation. But I want an answer of how many credit cards does the CFPB collect data on?
Okay, we don't collect any data from individuals about their credit card accounts other than those who come to our consumer response functions. What we do is we go to credit card issuers whom we're required to oversee and make sure they're complying with the law, and we need to look at their institutions and their practices to see if they are complying with the law. And by the way, some of them have not been, and we've gotten back $225 million to
Do you monitor credit card accounts? Do you monitor through your agency or any of your third-party contractors any credit card accounts?
And that's the third bucket, okay? So consumer complaint, supervision, and then market monitoring. On the market monitoring, as we have indicated before, and Mr. Antonakis indicated to you, we are gathering sample data on the credit card market.
I'm going to reclaim my time for a second.
Yeah.
Mr. Antonakis was asked these questions. Mm-hmm. In Senate banking, you were asked these questions. Mm-hmm. And you come today ill-prepared to give us numbers on the number of Americans that have their financial transactions and data collected by the CFPB.
So what I'm fully prepared to do is to give you explanation of how these programs work.
What I think America deserves is the transparency that you promised.
Okay.
And
so
you're
again,
not giving us that transparency.
Again, what we're delivering for consumers on credit cards is enforcement actions protecting 6 million Americans
of the banks or the financial
and
institutions
oversight of the
for
market.
which you collect.
The time belongs to the gentleman of Wisconsin.
You're not going to give me a direct number. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Stonewall me. Let's talk about financial institutions. Will you give me the names of the financial institutions for which you collect financial data on Americans? Will you give me those names?
Okay.
Yes or no?
What we're collecting is, your question, I just need to correct the premise of the question.
Will you
we're
give me
collecting
the information
data on how those institutions comply with the law, and they haven't always complied with the law.
Will you give me the names of those banks?
All right. There are 110 large institutions.
I'm going to reclaim my time. You want to answer my question?
Card issuers.
The claim for transparency, Mr. Director, isn't being met. And so let me just say, I'm going to ask you this. The American people don't know what the CFPB is doing. And if you look at another agency, it's called the NSA. And they collect information about Americans' phone records. America has said, I'm all right with my phone company having information about my phone records. But man, am I outraged when the federal government takes that information from me. And you're here to protect consumers, and you're taking this financial data that they've said it's okay for their financial institution to have, and you're taking it, and you're not giving them any transparency about the information you're taking, how much you're taking, from who you're taking it from. And that's incredibly frustrating. Why don't you just level with us? We've asked you these questions over and over and over again, and you come in and you stonewall, you try to explain, but never do we get answers, never does America get answers.
Look, I understand that you want to make a speech, and I appreciate that, but there's no comparison between the NSA and the CFPB.
Oh, there is.
It's a false comparison.
Oh, no, there isn't.
We're doing work to protect consumers.
Do you have numbers for me?
6 million consumers have benefited from the credit card work we're doing. Many more will benefit from it.
Names of banks or numbers of consumers who have their data collected. Do you have those numbers or those names?
There are
The answer is
110
no, isn't it?
banks, okay? I can name a number of them
gonna
if
give
you
me 'em?
wish, okay? We're looking at credit card matters at
Give me the
JP
names.
Morgan Chase. We're looking at credit card matters at Bank of America. We're looking at credit card matters at Capital One. We're looking at credit card matters
Great.
at Discover, American Express, all of the
So
big
now
issuers,
America
every
knows
single one
that
of them.
those are the great
And we're going to make
institutions
sure they're
that bank
complying with
with,
the
so their
law,
information-
and that
The
American
time,
customers
the
are
time
CFPB.
of the gentleman has expired. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Ellison.
Thank you, Director Cordray, and congratulations on your confirmation.
Thank you.
And thank you also on behalf of so many Americans who have benefited from the good work of your agency. I believe there's a total of $432 million being directly refunded to more than 6 million consumers because of your work. So you've had to endure criticism regarding data and I think questions that people want answered. But I think to the 6 million people who you helped get refunds, they're pretty happy about the work you're doing. So many proclamations made in the name of Americans. Those 6 million are Americans too. For example, the members of the United States military who were refunded about $6.5